Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor.
I'm only soft when I like somebody. The rest of y'all get this gangster shit, bitch.
Look at the joy. Here to tell us about it is that young woman herself, Michealah Montgomery. She's also the founder of a grassroots political group to conserve the culture. Michealah, I've been waiting for this interview all morning.
I've been waiting for this my whole life.
So thanks so much for joining us. So you told the president when you were hugging him, I don't care what the media says, we support you. Tell me what you meant by that.
I am so glad that is the first question you asked me. Mm-hmm. So, of course, in the excitement of everything, I wasn't able to really relay my message, but the general consensus or social media would have you thinking that if President Trump were to show up to the HBCU campuses or walk around the AUC community, that like some angry mob would form or a riot would ensue and that he would not be welcomed. And clearly the sentiment in that room the other day was the complete opposite. He was very welcome. People were excited to see him. People showed up in support of him, and people, of course, were from all four institutions within the AUC, the local HBCU community in Atlanta, and they all showed up in support of him. So it's actually kind of crazy to see people in an uproar when all four institutions were legitimately represented, and all four institutions were represented by said students who wanted to support President Trump.
You know, Michealah,
and I appreciate that we were able to not only let him know that regardless of what social media says, you know, I know they're trying to make us think we're supposed to hate you, but we don't. And additionally, it was a learning experience for my students because they were able to see and experience firsthand how the media can warp the perception of an opinion or a person. Because, like I said, to think that these students who attend these illustrious institutions aren't smart enough to make their own decisions, so much so that they would only show support for Trump because he bought chicken sandwiches and milkshakes.
It's offensive.
That in itself is the most disturbing part of it all, especially when you think about the fact that it was mainly urban media outlets that were doing everything in their power to turn other black people against these young black kids who simply were not shy to explore other options.
It's so incredible, and I think you hit it on the head. By the way, the former president, gave a lot of funding to HBCUs. One of the highlights of my childhood was my HBCU tour to figure out what college I wanted to go to. But tell me about the former president and his policies. What is it about him that is gravitating these young people toward the president? And a lot of people, traditionally, Republicans don't do well in black America. But a lot of young black Americans like the former president. What is it about him?
I think, and this is a sentiment I get a lot coming from the young people themselves, is that they feel like he's honest. They feel like this is somebody who, while we might not agree with how he says things, how he goes about things, at least he's telling us what it is. We don't feel like this is a snake in the grass waiting for his chance to bite us. This is somebody who's telling us, this is what my plan is. Here's how I plan to execute it. Here's the people involved. And here's how you can get involved. So they just feel like he's more relatable. And I don't say that to say that, like, you know, they all relate to him. But again, he gives you that relatable feeling to where it's like, hey, I'm just like you. You know me. This is what you said you wanted. Here's what I'm going to try to do about it. They really feel like this is somebody who's talking to them and not just saying what they want to hear.
Such a good point. Michealah, what has Biden done for our community? What has he done for black America?
Well, he locked up a lot of people that look like me, and they're still sitting in jail waiting for, you know, justice and appeal of some sort. So when it comes to what Joe Biden has done for black America, if we look specifically at his record as a senator, it wasn't something that benefited us at all. If anything, one could argue that he dedicated his entire senatorial career to disrupting the way of life, you know, for black people. He didn't want black kids going to the same school as his kids. He didn't want black people walking on the sidewalk along with his mother and grandmother. So the fact that we ignore these things that were said on the Senate floor. Like, this is somebody who passed legislation with the sole intent of oppressing a certain community. And we're going to act like that didn't happen, or we're going to act like it can be overshadowed by somebody's comments a few years down the line that made us feel some type of way. Feeling some type of way is completely different when you can feel a certain type of way at home. There's people who are, you know, as of right now, spending the rest of their lives in jail because, you know, Joe Biden thought that they deserved it, as if there isn't retribution. And then you had somebody like Trump come in and give us the First Step Act to try and right the wrongs that were done with this 3 strikes rule, and nobody's talking about that.
Michealah, I need more time with you. We got to go
You can call me whenever.
We'll make it happen. We'll bring you back on, and we'll talk about the president's plan to win more black voters. Michealah, thank you so much. Thanks for being bold. We'll talk soon.
School bus driver.
I'm so happy you all came out to see me. So, my name is Michealah Montgomery. A lot of you guys know me as the girl from Chick-fil-A, but I am so much more than that. Not only do I serve as the CEO of Conserve the Culture, I am also the state director for Blexit down here in Georgia. I'm a Fulton County coordinator for America First Works, and I'm also launching a podcast on the Patriots Prayer Network, so put some respect on my name. Now, why don't we jump right into it? See, as a young single mother, I can tell y'all that rent is too damn high. I can tell you that as a young black voter, groceries are too damn high. And as an American citizen, period, seniors like my parents should never have to choose between medicine or food. It should never be the quality of life versus the quantity of life. And I don't want to hear, oh, but we capped the price of insulin and lowered the price of all these medicines. Yeah, but you raised the price of everything else, so it's about time to start telling the truth to Americans and let them know exactly what they're signing up for if they want to vote for Kamala Harris. We need to vote based on facts and not feelings. See, under Harris and Biden, the average Georgia household is losing $1,060 per month, and inflation is at 21.4%. And due to the war on energy, average gas prices have reached record highs for the state. We also did a poll, and 80% of us black Americans are not happy with the current state of the economy, so I'm going to need 80% of y'all to vote accordingly in November. They love me, they really love me. The left wants you to get in your feelings about things that have been said, but I want you guys to pay attention to what has been done. They don't want to talk policy. They just want to use propaganda to steal your vote. The left is trying to tout this woman as a savior for the black community, but all she's done is hurt the black community since she came into the game. See, the first step in destroying the black community is to dismantle the black family. So aside from her record as a prosecutor, why don't we ask Mrs. Willie Brown if Kamala Harris cares about black families? I wonder if Mrs. Willie Brown, a black woman, is also with her. A few days ago, President Trump said he didn't know Vice President Harris was a black woman. I'm trying to figure out what all the outrage is about because she's only black when it's time to get elected. Did I lie? The same black people who are mad at Trump for being confused about her race, ethnicity, nationality, whatever, are seemingly forgetting that while you're touting her as a savior for black people, she identifies as an Asian woman. She chose her side and it wasn't ours. When asked if she would ever do anything specifically for black people, she said no. Whereas Trump gave us the Platinum Plan, which specifically uplifted the black community by increasing capital by almost $500 billion, creating 500,000 new black businesses, and would give black churches the ability to fight for federal resources for their communities. strong borders aren't a thing literally everywhere else in the world? Since when has being patriotic been a crime? See, a few weeks ago at the debate, Trump mentioned black jobs, and a lot of people got in an uproar as if they didn't know what he meant. Well, we go to the polls and cast our black vote. We go to the stores and spend our black dollar. We live in our black community, but for whatever reason, we draw the line at a black job. Oh, but wait, because if you're wondering what a black job is, please, I encourage you all to drive through Atlanta at all these beautiful black-owned businesses and check and see who works there. Probably a black person working for a black entrepreneur, recycling the black dollar, creating black generational wealth. If they come here illegally and they're taking your jobs and your resources, then please believe my cousins in the Appalachians, they're coming for you too. And y'all know Kamala Harris has yet to say Laken Riley's name. As borders are, she opened the border to millions of illegal immigrants that have flooded American streets with deadly drugs and gangs that have spiked overdoses by over 124% and brought more crime into minority communities. So how's that for black folks? But let's take race out of it. Just as a woman, period. How can you be a champion for women's rights when you're taking away opportunities from biological women and giving them to transgendered ones? I'll wait, y'all, because I wasn't done. See, how can you promote equity for women and you're allowing men to play in women's sports? And what kind of feminist would still allow men to enter their sacred spaces, i.e. our bathrooms and school locker rooms? Do I even need to mention the opening ceremony at the Olympics? Or the fact that Angela Carini was forced to fight a man and told us that she's never been punched so hard in her life. We cannot allow dangerous liberals who think things like this are okay into the White House, because my daughter will not be fighting a man at her wrestling match. And what I think both men and women can agree on is that national security is important. So who would y'all rather see lead us into war if it were so to happen? My silk-pressed sister Kamala or the big dog Donald Trump? And lastly, I could not get up here without mentioning my farmers, the backbone of this country. And aside from the Biden-Harris administration hurting you guys in ways we can't even comprehend by the rising cost of everything, black farmers suffered even more due to the delays associated with the Inflation Reduction Act signed in 2022. Now, don't let the Biden-Harris administration fool you, because they waited until the 9th hour to sign off on disbursements as a last-minute attempt to garner support. But why would they hurt the agricultural industry? Probably because they're looking forward to making more money in the pharmaceutical one. And speaking of pharmaceuticals, because I promise I'm gonna wrap this up, when they bring up abortion and they talk about protecting your medical freedoms, don't be afraid to mention COVID. The Biden-Harris administration forced Americans to take an experimental vaccine and took away their jobs, their livelihoods, and their freedoms if they refused. Trump gave us a choice and Biden gave us a mandate. Hey, y'all, because I'm about to kill him with this one. So the next time the left wants to tell you that, hey, abortion is a right and you need to protect your medical freedoms, remember that they took those freedoms away from men and women the second they got in office, and there's nothing stopping them from doing it again. Clock it. So lastly, again, I'm going to encourage you all to vote based on the facts and not feelings. Oh, he made me feel so bad when he said that. Okay, but they hurt your families when they sent all your tax dollars overseas. Oh, it hurts my feelings when he acts like that. Okay, but it hurts all of us when you see an administration failing their country that they were elected to represent. In which case, I'm going to leave y'all with, hey, mama, daddy, I made it. And my baby girl, Amaya, is somewhere in here, so we can all say, hey, Amaya, in unison, because she's the real superstar, y'all. But I'm going to go ahead and let y'all get riled up and ready for Big T himself. Thank you guys for having me. I look forward to seeing you all.
The president singing him happy birthday, and I hear you gave him a gift.
Yeah. So one of our members of Blexit has a company. I actually cannot remember the name of it, but I know that she puts Make America Sweet Again on her cookies. She's made cookies for events back at Mar-a-Lago before, and she had prepared that cookie for the president for his birthday. And so she walked in, and I told her, I was like, I'm going to try to get it to him, no promises. So when we started singing happy birthday, I, of course, had to get real loud. I was like, happy birthday! And then I looked at her, and I was like, bring it here. So then I pointed it out to the president. He saw it. He was like, wow. I was like, can I give it to you? He was like, yeah, go ahead and let him bring it up. And so they went ahead. I grabbed the cookie, gave it to him. And I'm telling you, it was a great moment for me. It was great that we could give that to the president. And that was a life-changing moment for her. She was in the audience crying, man. Like, that was so beautiful. I wish I could have brought her up.
Wow, a life-changing moment. And a woman of her word. So
doing what I can, real representation. That's what you say you're going to do something, follow through. Or at least try your best.
So this is Maurice and Michealah here of the Patriots Prayer. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless.
But I'm going to go ahead and let y'all get riled up and ready for Big T himself. Thank you guys for having me. I look forward to seeing you all.
Hey, Michealah, I know you spoke. Just come up for a second. Come here. This young woman, I walked into, I don't know what the hell restaurant it was, but I walked into this restaurant. And we do it very quietly. We don't announce it. That's for, security reasons, everything. I walked in. She's behind the counter, and she didn't know I was coming. And she goes, it's President Trump. She looks at me. It's President Trump. You saved my college. And I said, how the hell do you know that? She said, this one is so smart, so sharp. She grabbed me. She gave me a kiss. I said, I think I'm never going back home to the First Lady.
You were supposed to keep that quiet.
See, now, for the average politician, that's death. For me, I don't care. I just want to tell you, you are an unbelievable person with a great personality. You lit up the whole room. You lit up the whole room. I said, weeks later, I'd go, who is that person that was so incredible? She knew everything about me. She had no idea I was coming. She knew everything about me. And, the historically black colleges and universities, I gave millions and millions, billions of dollars to. They kept coming back. And I said, why are you doing this? And we gave them long-term funding. And she knew that because she said her college, she loved her college. She said it was so great, right? You loved it.
The illustrious CAU.
Yeah, that's right. She loved her college, and she said, you saved my college. What was your college? Tell them.
The illustrious Clark Atlanta University.
And it was so impressive, and I felt so good, because she really did. She really said, I said, did you like the college? She said, no, I loved that school. I loved that college. And that's what it's all about. But you are an incredible person. I think you have a tremendous future. I really do. Thank you. And I'll do whatever I can to help you. Okay? Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much for that. Great job. Thank you. You want to say something else?
Man, I thought I was done. But I do want to add on to some of the remarks that were made by others, and we do need to do our best to get the message out there. The fight is nothing if all we do is talk about it amongst ourselves. So with that being said, since you said you'd help me, shameless plug, if y'all need anybody to knock doors, make phone calls, wave signs, get people out to the polls, call me at Conserve the Culture, because not only do I mobilize the HBCU students so that they may get this message, but I'm the best person when it comes to black engagement in the black community. And nobody needs this message more than my folks. So do y'all care for real? Are y'all with us for real? ConserveTheCulture.com for any and all inquiries. Y'all can follow me at Michealah, baby. I'm going to give it back to Big T. And last thing, make sure you guys tune in to my podcast dropping soon on the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
I'm only tough when I like somebody. The rest of y'all get this gangster shit, bitch.